We wanna welcome you in the party life. Are you a superstar? Show it in love.
So guys, Kiss the Monkeys, we've had another epic night tonight. We've had about 30 friends over for dinner, and we had some sunset roof deck drinks. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But most amazingly of all, I'm sitting here with a lady who I consider a true earth angel. A lady that has come into our lives and has changed our lives and changed so many other lives in our group. But outside our group, what she's doing in the world, back in her country in Uganda, is quite simply extraordinary. So there's so many people owe their lives to this amazing lady. So Precious, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And so great to have you here tonight at the house, and you've met some of the Kiss the Monkeys members tonight.
Yes, I've enjoyed the beautiful scenery and the food, and it's an amazing event here today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you for inviting
So
me.
Precious, how do we even begin to describe what you do? You are actually, by trade, you're actually a nurse, is that
Yes.
right?
Professionally, I am a neuroscience registered nurse. I have a background in neuroscience, and I'm a registered nurse for about 13 years, actually coming to 14 years right now.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, tell us a bit about your mission in Uganda, because that's really the extraordinary thing you're doing, isn't it? Tell us a bit about that. How did it all start?
Well, it started as a young girl. I had this desire. My mom told me that even when I was still younger, I would collect friends that not necessarily from a high-end or rich neighborhood, and I would collect them together, and I would be able to provide them with food, or maybe just cook little meals as a child together. So, but then I left Uganda about 20 years ago. That was in 1999, and I came over here to the US, and I graduated my nursing school in 2005, and I've always had a desire to reach out to the unreached or the underserved communities of Uganda, and my aim is actually to spread all over Africa, because right now we're working in Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda, but we desire to work all over Africa.
So, but you have a mission that goes out to Uganda,
Right.
and you take a lot of people with you, a lot of volunteers. How many volunteers do you take with you?
So we take volunteers. Last year we took about 11 volunteers, and what we do is we gather volunteers, both medical and non-medical. We take entrepreneurs, coaches, and doctors and nurses, and we go to Uganda and we reach out in the rural areas, deep down in the rural communities, and we set up camp in sort of like a football set.
Okay.
Just we put up like maybe 7 tents, I would say, 7 to 10 tents, and we have like a buffet of doctors. So what happens is we let people come in, and we have them coming in one after the other so that they are able to receive medical care, because medical care is not free where they are, and the options they have are either they buy food or buy medicine, or they pay rent or go to the hospital. So if those options are not really balancing out very well, most people stay with the disease that they have, or if it's an infection that they have, they stay with it, and unfortunately because of that, then they die prematurely. But because they die prematurely, then they leave orphans, and then they leave widows. I've been privileged to run an orphanage center for about 12 years. I started off as an international director, and whenever we see a growing number of orphans and widows, as a neuroscience nurse, they train you that prevention is better than cure. So what we did was going back to the sense of why are there so many widows? Why are there so many orphans in Uganda? And unfortunately, it's not only in Uganda, but it's a reflection of what happens in Africa. So because of my training as a neuroscience registered nurse, I was able to gather together a number of friends, doctors, nurses, and other entrepreneurs last year in September, and we took about 11 of them. We went to Uganda, set up camp, and this buffet of doctors was able to treat about 4,767
Wow,
patients.
amazing.
And we did that in about 5 days. We also delivered 2 bouncing baby girls. One of them is called Baby Precious. I am always honored to actually mention that, because among the people that we also helped deliver was this little girl. She was 24 years old. and she had a lot of scarring, and so her cervix was not expanding. So we would have lost the mother, we would have lost the baby, but because our doctors were there, they were able to take her so that they would do a C-section on her, and both of them were saved. So it is an honor for me to be able to do this kind of work, and the volunteers that come with us are amazing, because we take them, and imagine in one day being surrounded by 1,000 or maybe almost 2,000 people in one day to be treated. So
that's incredible.
some of
It
the
must
work
give
that
you
we do.
such an amazing feeling of accomplishment, and to help so many others.
Right.
It must be an incredible feeling.
Right.
I
It
can't
is.
even imagine what it feels
is.
like, and they're so grateful, and you've literally saved thousands and thousands of lives. And now, how can people help Precious? How can they help you with your mission and your cause?
Right. In Africa, we have a saying. I'm very careful when I say either Africa or Uganda, because I don't want to generalize everything. But I'm from Uganda, but in Africa/Uganda, we have a saying that goes, "It takes a village to raise a child." In order for us to do the work that we do, the orphanage care that we do, we also do women empowerment for widows and single moms. We take care of them. So in order for us to do that kind of work, we empower them, because there's a saying that goes, "Teach me how to fish." Whenever we go there, we don't want to just hand down to them just give them food and then clothing and all that. We also teach them in vocational training, so that when we leave, and when we leave our teams on ground, they're able to also build themselves up through the vocational trainings that we do. Sometimes it's like tailoring, sometimes we do farming, and we teach them adult literacy, because most of them either never went to school, or some of them are dropped out of school, like in elementary school. So when you ask me how can people help, we desire to have people who have a heart for Africa, who have a desire to help the country of Uganda and Africa in general, so that they volunteer and they come with us. September next year, this year, September 2019, we're taking another medical team. We desire to take about 25 medical people and non-medical, because we mix both medical and non-medical volunteers to come with us. We will do another camp, and we are set to almost treat about 7,000 this time, because we're going to reach out in a place called Jinja. Jinja is on the eastern side of the country of Uganda. Actually, it's where the source of the Nile River is. So we're going to set up camp and treat people, and we always do this free of charge, because we don't want somebody to have the dilemma of, do I pay for food, or do I pay for medicine? Do I pay for the hospital, or do I pay for my rent? We don't want anybody to have that dilemma. So we desire to have people who'd like to either donate to us, or if you know anybody who does grants and can help us get grants, so that we can support the work that we do. In order to do a medical mission of that caliber, it costs us about $50,000. So if maybe, let me say somebody says, I have $500, I will give you $500. So if we have 100 people that can say that, that's one way that somebody can help. If we have somebody who says, no, I can give 1,000, and we have 50 people, only 50 people that can say, I'm going to give you $1,000 each, that alone is going to cover our September medical mission. And on top of that, we also do a lot of follow-up. And the follow-up is, once we do the medical missions, we also go back 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months, and 9 months later, to make sure that the medical care we provided is actually continuing on and has helped the person.
That's great.
And then we place them in a lot of vocational training facilities, so that we develop their skills. So it's not just giving them one time, but we're teaching them how to fish, and then it continues on, so that we want to develop a community that is self-sustained, a lot of self-sustainability.
So what is the name of the mission, and how do they find you on social media?
Right.
Precious.
On social media, on Facebook, we are very active on Facebook. It's called Precious Kids Foundation. That's Precious Kids Foundation. And our website is also preciouskidsfoundation.org.
Is there a contact way to get hold of you? Do you have an email?
Email is pkflove@gmail.com. That is P as in precious, K as kids, F as in Frank, so pkflove@gmail.com.
Great.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Precious.
And even any volunteers that would really love to come with us, we're taking a set of volunteers and we're leaving the end of August for about 2 weeks. So if anybody wants to volunteer with us, we welcome any volunteers.
It's amazing. It's so special what you do, Precious, and thank you for all the, thank you for being such a great member of our group. Because you always support us. You came to Chicago. You come to you're coming in July for the events. And you fly in all the way from Atlanta. Where do you live? In San Francisco now.
Yes.
So, your friend lives in Atlanta. That's
Yes.
right. So thank you. We love you, Precious,
Yes.
and anyone who can help reach out to Precious. We're going to do our best to help as well. And thank you so much for everybody, and thank you, Dumi, for filming
Thank
this.
you.
It's a great honor to have this amazing lady tonight, and we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love.
We wanna welcome you in the party life. Are you a superstar?